What's up, everybody? It's your boy Melvin here for another classic review, and today I'm reviewing the 1967 stop-motion horror film Mad Monster Party. Released in March 8th of 67, it was made by the guys of Rankin Bass. If you don't remember those names, well, wow, where were you guys? Yep, no childhood, don't you? But yeah, before we begin, did you subscribe? Did you hit the bell? If so, what are you waiting for? Are you waiting for your invitation to be invited to the most craziest, insane party you ever seen? If so, you're in the right place. Let's go. So yeah, to refresh your memories, this film was made by the guys who made classics such as Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Frosty the Snowman, A Year Without Santa Claus, The Little Drummer Boy, and other famous films that Rankin Bass ever did, in television and movie as well. And this was their first horror-related film, since most of their library is mostly holidays, like the Christmas time, you know? But this is the first time they're doing it with horror. Although this was released in March 8th, so... weird, ain't it? But yeah, it was directed by Jules Bass, and also story by Arthur Rankin. Hey, Rankin Bass. And it has some good voice talent there. You won't believe how many... Try to guess how many who did this. Only 4 people. Boris Karloff, Alan Swift, Gale Garnett, and the most funniest woman in that time period, Phyllis Diller. If you don't remember her, she was, to those who are from the later generation who've seen Family Guy, she's the voice of Peter's mom. Velvet, I think? Velma? I think? Yeah. Peter Griffin's mom. She even looks like her. But yeah, the funny part is the voice actor Alan Swift, he did almost every character, but I'm going to tell you why. But before, let's start with the review. So we get the opening title with this weird, it was like this weird 60s, you know, dun 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 dun, like that. And we get this awesome detail of the models, the set of the island where Dr. Frankenstein, voiced by Boris Karloff, lives. It looks even okay. Even the skulls look awesome. Through the hidden woods, we get a zoom into the castle as well, and we get to see Dr. Frankenstein performing a new experiment, some type of vial, which he quotes, my latest experiment. Now the final result, which is lightning, of course. What do we get? Dun, 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 dun. It's like this jazzy theme. That's when the vial is lowered. He grabs a raven, dips the needle in where the vial is, then pricks it on the raven, lets the raven go through the window. As the raven touches to a tree, boom! An atomic blast. Which Frankenstein quotes, "Ha ha ha, quote the raven, nevermore. Ah, now I done it. The secret to destroy matter. I, Baron von Frankenstein, master of the secret of life, have now mastered the secret of destruction." You gotta love it, because you can see it. The invitations must be sent at once. It'll be fun. Hey, my boy. And we get to see the monster right there. He's like, until he gets electrocuted. And then title card. And we get this jazzy opening theme music sang by Ethel Ennis, saying one by one each of the monsters who was getting their invitation. First was Dracula. I think the next one was the Mummy, I think, or the Invisible Man. Let me check. Yeah. Then the Mummy, then Quasimodo, the Hunchback, then the Invisible Man, then the Wolf Man, And then we see Dr. Jekyll walking the streets of London, receives his invitation. You know what he does? Unscrews the top of his cane. It turns out to be kind of like a flask. Drinks it and becomes Mr. Hyde. It smashes a store window. So we get a little more of each character. And finally, we get the creature. Well, he doesn't talk. He just like that. The bubbles, which is kind of cool. So we meet Felix Flanken, the Baron's own nephew, I think. Yeah, nephew and successor. Well, no, he's like the most clueless, typical person ever. He just play around the pharmacy, and this is a typical pharmacy in the 60s. You know, like all those cameras, those sets right back then. Then he gets shot by his boss, Mr. Cromkite, I think. Here's the thing, Alan Swift voice. The way if Alan Swift does the voice for Felix, he impersonates Jimmy Stewart's way of speaking. You know, if you've ever seen Jimmy Stewart in movies, he has like, well on you, that slow talk. That's how he does with Felix Flanken. He based on that one. Soon, of course, Mr. Crumkite, he just, it feels like, you could, well, take out of my pay, Mr. Crumkite. Pay? What pay? I ain't paying you more than this. And what are you doing in the pharmacy section? May I remind you it is a pharmacy store? And of course, we see a bunch of people waiting in the counter. It's like a diner. We got some guy reading through the paperbacks, which, if you didn't notice, there's Playboy magazines in right there in plain sight. Wow. And of course, we had some weird packages, fizzle fit, whatever. Of course, we get the mailman, who gives some bills to Mr. Cromcat, and also a letter for Felix. He said he has a fancy stamp, which has the Baron holding a skull, just like he's doing Hamlet. He opens the letter, a spider pops out, dusty in it. Soon he reads that he's being invited to a private island in the Caribbean, which the mailman tried to describe his imagination. Of course, he asks Mr. Cronkite to take a vacation, which he accepts because he says, well, it ain't your vacation, it's mine. Because, you know, because Felix is clumsy. Go! Before you wreck the whole store! Later, because Felix next a bunch of bottles of bubbles something. He calls a massive flood of bubbles. Until the mailman says, can he reach until the 31st? So we arrive to the castle where we see Thing, the Frankenstein the monster. That's what he's called. Looking at Francesca, who is the Baron's assistant secretary. And then we get the most awesome scene. The monster's mate, voiced by Phyllis Diller, telling him, wandering, bird watching again, Thing? The last time you had a wandering eye, I put it in a pickle jar for a week. Ha 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 ha. No, literally. That's how she actually said, but she says it way better. Come on, it's Phyllis Diller. You can't impersonate that woman. She's one of a kind, just like Betty White. But yeah. Then she starts like a musical number that says, you're different, which I think that'd be a positive thing because you're different. But yeah. After that, we get to see Francesca, voiced by Gale Garnett, talking with the Baron about those who received the invitation, except for one, it. And I'm not talking about Pennywise. You'll see a little later who it is, which the Baron describes. It has destroyed wild boars. Yeah, imagine its size, and no, it's not Godzilla. I already spoiled that, so yeah. You can get out who it is. Of course, she receives one letter from Felix. She called it weird, which the Baron is happy. He's coming? But what else does he write? which is describing the fun people, which she thinks could be Dracula and the Wolfman as fun people. Which he mentioned resort and beaches, which she you see her expression like, wait, resort? Doesn't know about the crocodiles in the moat and the quicksands on the beach. Soon, that's when the Baron reveals that that's his only living descendant because she, wait, I thought you didn't have any living relatives. Which turns out that Felix is the son of his sister. Well, it turned out she was a witch until she married a traveling salesman named, I forgot the name, John Flanken, I think. Yeah. It's kind of difficult because you're trying to describe everything. Oh yeah, I remember what the Baron said describing it. It says it be a crushing boar, explaining that it even crushed the island's wild boars with his bare hands. Now last time he was invited. Back door was the same. Of course, because it turns out the Baron's going to invite him because he's retiring and Felix is his heir. Which even Francesca just almost choked on tea. Which, of course, turned in everything, including his latest discovery, as Francesca leaves. That's when the Baron tells him, make him feel welcome. Be friends. And you know what she did after the Baron left? She said, like him, I'll love him to pieces. And she smacks the, looks like a shrunken head cuckoo clock right back into his clock. So of course, we meet yet the Baron's butler, who is impersonating okay, because remember I said Alan Sue is voicing every character in this one? Yeah. He's voicing Dracula, the Invisible Man, Felix, Krumkite, Yetch. For Yetch, he's impersonating Peter Lorre. If you remember him, say, hello there. Yeah, have you never met Peter Lorre in the horror films along with Vincent Price? Yeah, like, let's see, I can't remember. The Raven, there's one. Comedy of Terror, and other horror films that he usually appear with Vincent Price. But yeah, back to when the monsters arrive. They're in the middle of the docks. There's a ship going, like a Caribbean cruise. Like, this is the most poorish cruise ship. It's like $100 to get in the ship. Of course, the first one who's, I think, when the captain and the first mate are talking, that's when the first one mentioned that everybody jumped ship because of I think the one that scared the shit out of everybody was Dr. Jekyll, who was the first one. But the first one say, wait, Dr. Jekyll? Weird. He told me his name was Mr. Hyde. And they kept thinking that, I don't care. At least he paid his fee. Then came Dracula. He was the next one. What? He says, tell me, is this the ship that will take you to the island of evil? And the first man, we don't go there. Well, it'll be $100 with that fancy suit and all. And the count just pulled out his wallet and say, well, looks like my wallet's empty. I'll just fly. He just turned about, right? Bullshit, he ain't flying. He just flew inside the portal. Sheep. But you're playing tricks on me, sir. Then came the Hunchback. Which, of course, since they needed our crew member, so they took the Hunchback, and guess what he has left? The mummy sarcophagus. Literally, he's in the coffin. After that came Felix, which they believe oh no, not another one. Of course, Felix entered free because they don't know if he's like them. You know. Soon Felix enters free, and then the Wolfman shows up. The ship's already about to leave. They already pulled the gangway. Guess what he does? He just climbs on the rope and enters the porthole. Soon Felix is inside the ship, which is the most filthiest ship ever. I will never go on a show like that. Hell no. And guess what he bumps into? The Wolfman. Knocking his glasses, he mistaken to be a woman, and so he thought it was a woman. Saying, "Oh, I hate to see a woman cry." Really? That's when he bumps into the Invisible Man, which, well, that's obvious. He could just take his clothes off. He could just walk right past him. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I can't see why my glasses." He's like, I never heard that one before. Soon after, during the cruise, during the whole time, I think when the captain asks the first mate to tell him the passengers to come dine with me. Which the first mate doesn't want to, but of course he has to follow orders. Soon he's going down below, knocking each door to inform him to have dinner with the captain. The first one he knocks, Dracula says, "How do?" He slams that he was nervous. Soon he got confused, entered a room which the mummy is in. The mummy slowly opens his sarcophagus, taps on the first mate's shoulder, and you see the first mate, he just got the Friday. "See, legs, if you start moving, you better move as you never moved before." He just went running right back up. Soon we see Felix talking to Dr. Jekyll, which, of course, Felix doesn't know that Dr. Jekyll is, well, he's lucky that Dr. Jekyll's not, well, they're having like a talk until Felix started to have his allergy problem. He's a pharmacist, and of course, mentioned he's a pharmacist, and Dr. Jekyll, well, I have an elixir here that keeps me top shape. He prepares the elixir to your health, drinks it, oh boy, and here goes Mr. Hyde, which Felix thinks he was seasick because he saw Mr. Hyde's face say, "Hyde, Hyde." Oh, you want to play hide and seek? Literally, that's what Felix thought, what Mr. Hyde said. Of course, Felix says, "Okay, I hide, you seek." That's it. And guess where Felix was hiding? In a lifeboat. Back at the island, the Baron's talking to his staff, which, of course, while I'm talking the whole thing, his butler, Yetch, keeps losing his head. Like I said before, Alan Switz is actually impersonating Peter Lorre for this one. Which is the weird part. After they were dismissed, he bumps into Francesca, which he has a crush on Francesca, and to her, she sees him as repulsive. Of course, she kicks him. She told me to creep. Literally, he actually crawls. Soon after, during the castle, Yetch is actually expecting everything. First, he goes to the kitchen, meet with Chef. Chef Mafia Machiavelli. I'm not joking. Which he shows different ingredients, which a salad that contains some of the chemicals for explosives, like nitroglycerin. I don't know what the other one is, but one says a Big Bang. Of course, he shows them food, which that made me hungry, but I don't want to eat that. Hell no. Wait, am I going the wrong way? Yes, I am. Shit. Soon after, he goes up in the hangar, which the castle has an old hangar. And sees the zombies like go for it. "Hey, what are you waiting for?" The Baron tells you to go to the sky and patrol. Okay, you ever seen zombies fly old biplanes? Yeah, there's your example. which Yetch mentions, I wish I could fly again, but the Baron grounded me. Hey, we can't have everything. At least have my physical fitness. Oh boy. I'm just a bad impersonating this guy, but hey, don't blame me. But yeah, we finally arrived to the island. All of them. Of course, one by one, they have their own way. And Drago just says the most funny thing. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'll show you who's the original Batman. Which, he turns to a bat and flies out of the portal. Then came, I think it was the Hunchback or the Wolfman. I don't know which, because I don't know who. I think it was the Hunchback that just rode the mummy sarcophagus into the water and jumped and used it as a boat. Then the Wolfman, and then the Visible Man just took his clothes off completely and jumps in the water. Full commandoed. As for Mr. Hyde, he lowers the lifeboat and leaves. Soon all the monsters arrive at the castle, one by one, making a grand entrance. Oh yeah, you wonder where's the creature. Remember, he swims in water, right? Who needs a boat when you can swim in water? See? He actually, one by one, everybody appears and join the party, which they make a grand entrance. The first who entered was, I think, the monster and the bride, which of course, remember Phyllis Diller, trying with her weird compliments. Then after that, I think it was Dracula. Then the Wolfman. And after that, the Hunchback, the Mummy, the Invisible Man, and who else? I think the final one was the creature from the Black Lagoon. And we have everybody. Everybody enters to the dining room where everybody is having fun. That's when the Baron mentions his great announcement, which he shows the vial, which is the ingredients, the vial that contains the potion of destruction. In other words, it's an atomic bomb in the vial. After that, that's when, one by one, the monsters start to do a conspiracy against the Baron by wanting the secret for themselves, which, yeah, obviously. That's when the Baron tells him he's going to leave, but he's going to leave. Tell him the night's still young, have a great time, and have fun. With this skeleton version of the Beatles, which is actually pretty fun. They had like a psychedelic dance with the bride and the mummy. And this is a song called It's the Mummy. And the bride's they're playing your song, dear. Let's dance. When they start doing the dance, literally, it's actually pretty funny. Soon Jessica calls on Dracula, when Dracula says, "Excuse me, Wolfie, but love is calling me." No joke. Which, of course, oh yeah, I forgot to mention that every time Dracula tries to kiss somebody, I think he's the one from the bride. Hey, no kiss. You always leave marks. No shit. Of course, Francesca mentions that Drac tells him that about Felix, who's the heir to everything. Well, it turns out, remember, when Dracula asks, what is he? A human, which, of course, they're the worst. So they have a little musical number. It's called It's Our Time to Shine. Which, of course, the bride's hearing the whole thing. She starts until she's been found. Dracula's trying to hypnotize her, but the monster grabs him. But it's the most funny thing. When Dracula said, "When times like this, you only need one thing to do. Help!" Literally, he just shouts help, and guess who comes to the rescue? the werewolf. And soon a massive brawl begins. We got the bride versus Francesca. We have Dracula versus the monster versus the Wolfman. One by one, everybody's having a punch fight, food fight. Literally. And yet loses his head, and guess what Mr. Hyde gave him? A head of a pig. Literally. Ah, lost your head. Here, try this. Yeah. Oh my god. That's when Dracula's actually the chandelier. He falls into a fruit punch. He's a punch anyone? And the monster. An actual punch. Hey, you said punch. He gave you a punch. There you go. Yeah. But yeah, after that, everybody's asleep. Which of course it was a crazy night. We see one by one how everybody sleeps. We see the bride sleeping with an ice block on her head. I wonder why. And of course the monster trying to sleep, but her snoring keeps him awake. I think he electrocuted himself to knock himself out. Then came, I think it's the Wolfman, the Mummy, and the Invisible Man sharing a room. Where the Wolfman is howling because it's a full moon. He's sleep howling, and the Invisible Man is trying to sleep. So he grabs his stuff, grabs some gauze, and wraps it around his mouth so he can shut the hell up. Then we see Dr. Jekyll sleeping with the creature, which, instead of snoring, he's actually gurgling water and spitting it out, waking Dr. Jekyll up. That's when he drinks a potion, turns to Mr. Hyde, grabs the umbrella, and shoves it down the creature's throat, which he spreads in two different directions, which is actually kind of funny. Soon, the next day, we get to see Dr. Frankenstein and Francesca waiting for Felix, who's actually still in the boat. I'm not joking. He's actually still in the boat. He questions him why the captain didn't dock closer. Well, no shit, it's called the Isle of Evil. What do you expect? Soon, the doctor sees his nephew, and he tells Francesca to wave, make him feel welcome. Soon, of course, remember, Felix is clumsy, so he falls overboard. Soon, Dr. Frankenstein tries to help him, then he falls in the water, which is actually pretty funny. Soon, they meet one another. He introduces to Francesca. And we get to see his weird bow. It's like the Loch Ness Monster, literally. And slowly we enter the castle. After that, I think Francesca is giving him a tour where, remember, she had a plan with Dracula to kill Felix. So during the tour, that's when they first encountered the Wolfman, which he throws a stick at him and says, "Oh, good boy," which Francesca said, "That's not a good boy, that's a werewolf. Weren't you afraid?" Nope. Soon after that came, I think it was the Mummy. And guess what Felix does? He ties him up because he was injured, that's why. Right on the tree. And finally, it's a picnic. Felix tries to decide what to eat, while Dracula tries to bite him. Which Francesca was looking at him like, until he does a running spree. Felix dodges, which he was trying to look in the basket, and guess what happened? Dracula hit a tree and lost his teeth. Hey, I beg your pardon. Let me introduce myself with no teeth. Ouch. Soon, the Baron shows Felix around. First was the hangar, where they mentioned the Wright brothers, which, wait, the Wright brothers? Frankenstein. Make more sense. Then his laboratory, which turns out that he tells him that he's actually a leader of all monsters. Which, of course, he gets him a little song number to explain the whole thing, which is actually pretty catchy. I'm not joking. After that, he leaves him to his thinking, which, back with Francesca and Dracula, she tells him he already had 3 chances and he blew it all. Soon, we encounter the bride and the monster, which it turns out it was a double crossed between Dracula, the mate, and of course, three of them against Jessica. Guess what she does? She pulls a lever, which she falls into the laboratory because they're afraid that she's going to tell on the Baron. Literally. That's when Jessica believed that now that she was betrayed. Guess what she does? She grabs a carrier bat, and guess what the letter is? An invitation. And guess who she sent it to? It. Literally. Of course, while up in the room, that's when they decided to go down there. The monster just threw Dracula right in there. Then came the maid, and then Dracula. The monster. Soon they arrive. That's when Jessica was prepared because she has Wolfbane for the vampire and the torch for the monster, which she got confused. That's when each grab the one after the other. Jessica jumps out the window, which of course starts the whole mess. That Jessica is actually in a moat surrounded by alligators. And guess what? Guess who was right there? Felix. Fishing, and guess who's stealing his fishes? The creature. Soon, as Francesca jumps in there, Felix saves her. Which, of course, she starts being delusional, blaming him for everything. And guess what Felix does when she's delusional? He slaps her. And then, as he slaps her, that's when she starts to fall in love with him. He did it twice. He says, "Oh, Felix, I was such a fool." And right there, she just kissed him right there, and there was some weird fireworks. Lightning strike, a tree, and waves crashing. Yep, that is some kiss, I tell you what. But yeah. Soon she had a little number, like a musical number, of describing her love with Felix. Wow. Of course, that's when the monsters have a meeting about what they're gonna do. I think Dracula just put Yetra in the buzz because he's using him today because Felix has Jessica now. He tells him that he deserves Jessica, not him. Which, of course, everybody joins in and about to get Felix. Of course, they're still in the woods. That's when they get cornered by all the monsters. And guess who arrives? It. Who is a takeoff of King Kong. Literally. But here's the funny thing. Felix grabs a bottle, looks like the vial of the explosive that the Baron made, and they thought it was the vial. What scares them, that's when they see it. That's when Felix get a bit too cocky and say, I got the power now. That's when he turns around, sees it, hi there, you want a banana? He roars and he just faints. I think I forgot to mention that Jessica's been kidnapped by the Wolfman. Soon, of course, it goes to the castle, sees a picture of Jessica, and falls in love. I'm not joking. Well, every beast loves a beauty, so yeah. Soon after, Jessica is being captured by Yitch. Which, of course, he tries to seduce her. He says, I have you to myself. As he's about to kiss her, it just flinged him, literally, just finger flicked him. And sent him flying. Wow! Her kisses sent me flying! Oh boy. So she's freed. That's when the Baron meets with his nephew, tell him that there's a boat nearby. He should take it, which he asks what he's going to do. He has everything under control. Soon, it has everybody in hold. That's when the Baron shows up with a squadron and starts to attack it. One by one, that's when the Baron tells them, "It's me you want. Come get me." Soon, it grabs the Baron. That's when the Baron tells him and everybody that he's disappointed that he tried to have his nephew killed. That's when he shows the vial and tells them, "You should never cross Baron Frankenstein." Meanwhile, it releases Francesca and Felix manages to pick her up in the boat. And guess what the Baron does? He throws the vial as everybody watches, and then Felix and Francesca are watching. Boom! The whole island is destroyed completely. Everybody's dead, including the Baron, every monster, dead, exploded. And the island, never seen again. Meanwhile, Felix and Jessica are talking. That's when Felix told him he could stay with her. Stay with him. Because he has a small room. Of course, because he wants to get married. But the problem is, get this, Jessica's not even a real human. You ever wonder why she's there? Turns out, she's a machine. A creation by Dr. Frankenstein. Which, of course, here's the funny part. That's when Felix starts to, well, nobody's perfect. Well, it turns out Felix is not an actual human as well, so, well, you got a perfect match right there. A robot for a robot. And that was Mad Monster Party, and this was a good one because, okay, you gotta give Alan Swift some credit. For him voicing every character, that is some gold right there, man. Pure gold right there. That is awesome. But yeah, and this was a good movie back in the day when it first came out because this is in the 60s and you know Frankenbass was heading full swing back in those days. And there were other things because he got a lot of inspirations for doing this, like in the 60s, you know, like you have the Addams Family, the Munsters, something campy and jokey, psychedelic. And also, they had some help, like Mad Magazine creator Harvey Kurtzman penned the script, and Mad Art Jack Davis designed the characters. If you don't remember Jack Davis, he's famous for doing the famed comics of EC Comics, like Tales from the Crypt, Vault of Horror, and the Haunt of Fear, which I did not know that. That's pretty awesome. And this is actually one of several friendly projects that Boris Karloff lent his voice in his final years, because including the 1966 television adaptation of How the Grinch Stole Christmas, which is actually pretty cool, and plus you get to hear him sing, which is actually pretty funny. But yeah, and that was Mad Monster Party, everybody. And if you like this movie, if you've seen it, well, I'm not talking about it from the 60s because, oh boy, that is too long. I mean, like in reruns, like in TV, if you own the DVD or Blu-ray, or VHS, just in case. What was your first scene, and what was the scene that made you laugh more? Yes, hey, this was a good movie by Rankin Bass. They did with the Christmas season. Why not Halloween? That was actually pretty cool. And the puppetry? Okay, that is pretty hard to animate because remember how stop motion works. It's not like Aardman or Tim Burton style. And here's the funny thing. The company behind Animagic, they're the guys who made the puppets for Laika and the Tim Burton films like Corpse Bride. Let's see, what else? I don't know, or Nightmare Before Christmas did that, I think. Yeah. Like Laika and other films. They were actually got puppets from Animagic back in those days. So it's kind of cool that they're still around. So yeah. They have a good legacy, Anna Magic. Which is Anna Magic. Yeah, there. But yeah, let me know what you think of the video. Did you like it? If you liked the video, give it a like. And if you're new to the channel, remember to subscribe, hit the bell, because we're trying to aim our goal of 1 million subscribers by the end of this year, by December 31st. So let's do this. And we're still with the spooky season, so until then, see you guys. Have a great day. Peace.